Well, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everyone. Wherever you are in the world, welcome back to the third installation of my Over-the-Wire Bandit Solutions Guide, a Linux admin's guide to solving Over-the-Wire's Bandit. You can call me Anya, and I will be continuing working on level 17 up to level 23 of Bandit in this installment. There's a lot of good stuff coming up. We're going to learn about cron jobs, netcat listeners, nmap, and a whole lot more. But let's forge ahead and finish up Bandit level 17. Let's move on to Bandit level 17 to 18. The level goal states that there are two files in the home directory, passwords.old and passwords.new. The password for the next level is in passwords.new and is the only line that is changed between passwords.old and passwords.new. Let's list out the contents of the directory. We do see the passwords.new and passwords.old file. We are going to compare the text of each of the files with the diff command. Specify passwords.new and passwords.old. So as diff compares the lines of the text documents, it will specify in the output the lines that have changed between the two files. So at the top here, we see the line that has changed and is different from passwords.old. This should be the password for the next level. Let's exit out and SSH over to Bandit 18. Copy and paste the password. And we get this error. Bye-bye. Connection to bandit.labs.overthewire.org is closed. Don't worry, this is normal and it's part of the challenge. Let's move on to Bandit 19. The level goal states the password for the next level is stored in a file readme in the home directory. Unfortunately, someone has modified .bashrc to log you out when you log in with SSH. So this makes sense with our prior issue logging into level 18 where the host severed the connection. Let's log into Bandit 17 and explore a little bit more. We'll go back over to Etsy, list out the contents of the directory. We should see a shells file. Here we go, the shells file. Cat out shells. And you will see that these are the valid logins. The default login bash is not specified here. So we will have to select one of these and one of these valid login shells and try again. What we'll do is SSH over to Bandit 18 and then put in the host name. And here we're going to use the T command to specify a non-default shell. We'll just use the top one, bin sh, and this will allow us to connect in a pseudo terminal. Okay, make sure you have the Bandit 18 password handy. Now this is from that passwords.new file. Okay, we have a shell. It's a limited shell, but we have one nonetheless. Let's cat the readme. There we go. There's the password for level 20. We are finally in on Bandit level 19. Let's go ahead with the level goal. To gain access to the next level, you should use the setuid binary in the home directory. Execute it without arguments to find out how to use it. The password for this level can be found in the usual place, that etsy/bandit_pass directory, after you've used the setuid binary. Flip over the terminal, list the contents. We do see the setuid binary. Take a look at the permissions. So we have a script here that is an executable with special permissions. Let's try executing it as suggested in the level goal. So if we execute this without arguments, we're returned this error: run a command as another user. Example, bandit20/do_id. So we can go ahead and run this script with the argument ID, and it will return the user IDs for Bandit20. Looks like we can run really any command we want. Let's try who am I, Bandit20. What we'll do then is cat out the file for Bandit20, because we're running this as Bandit user 20. The bandit_pass and bandit20. There's the password for level 20. Alright, let's tackle Bandit level 20. The level goal states that there is a setuid binary in the home directory that does the following. It makes a connection to the localhost on the port you specify as a command line argument. It then reads a line of text from the connection and compares it to the password in the previous level, Bandit20. If the password is correct, it will transmit the password for the next level, Bandit21. So to solve this level, we're going to use the netcat command line utility. Netcat is a utility that establishes TCP IP network connections. First, you echo the Bandit20 password string, so make sure you have that password handy. And echoing will display the password as standard output in the terminal, like so. However, we're going to pipe over to the netcat command and establish a listener with tac-l on port, and then you can pick any port you'd like. 1, 2, 3, 4. What this will do is pass the Bandit20 password over to the netcat command via the pipe. Lastly, we're going to enter an ampersand here at the end so that this process will run in the background in a subshell, and we can continue running other commands to solve the level. Alright there, so you actually see the process ID number, and to ensure that the process is still running, we can use PS to view all active processes. Okay. So we line up the PID number, 653, and we see that this process is indeed running and is active. Now let's list out the contents of the home directory. We do see the setuid binary. Let's run the setuid binary without any arguments first. Okay, so we'll run it without an argument. It'll complain like, hey, you need to specify a port number. This program will connect to the given port on localhost using TCP. If it receives the correct password from the other side, the next password will be transmitted. So let's run this time and specify our port. 1, 2, 3, 4. It connects to our netcat listener, and it was able to read our password and send back the password for Bandit21. Let's read the level goal for Bandit level 21 to level 22. A program is running automatically at regular intervals from Cron, the time-based job scheduler. Look at etc cron.d for the configuration and see what command is being executed. Alrighty, so as it states, a cron job is a scheduled task that runs at a specified interval. Let's go cd to the directory specified in the level goal. So we're in the etc cron.d directory, list the contents. Alright, there's the cron job Bandit 22. Let's go ahead and cat this file out. So it looks like the cron job file here, located in the etc cron.d directory, runs a script at system startup. And then the script, it utilizes this user bin cronjob underscore bandit22.sh script, which must perform some operation related to the next password. Let's take a look at this script as well. Alright, so the bash script that the cron job is executing first changes the permissions to this temporary file to 644. That's so the owner of the file can read and write, the group can read, and all other users can read as well. Then the password for Bandit22 is written to this temporary directory. Let's cat out the temporary directory, and we should see the Bandit22 password. Let's take a look at the level goal for Bandit level 22. A program is running automatically at regular intervals from Cron, the time-based job scheduler. Look in etc cron.d for the configuration and see what command is being executed. Let's go to the terminal and cd over to that etc cron.d directory. List out the contents of the files. We see this cronjob underscore bandit23 cron. Cat out the contents. Alright, so we see that the cron is executing this cronjob underscore bandit23 bash script at system startup. Let's take a look at the contents of the bash script as well. Okay, in the bash script, we're starting to introduce variables. So we have a myname variable, which sets the variable to the output of the whoami command or the current user. Then we have this myTarget variable, which creates a string that includes the myname variable or current username, and then pipes it over into an MD5 hash. Finally, this line copies the password file over to the temporary directory. Now let's substitute Bandit23 directly into this MD5 hash collection. So we're going to change the myname variable to Bandit23. Once we substitute that in, we'll get a resulting hash to find the password. We'll use cat to read the contents of that temporary file, copy and paste the hash after the temp directory, and there is the password for Bandit level 23. The Bandit level 23 level goal states that a program is currently automatically running at regular intervals from Cron, the time-based job scheduler. Look in etc cron.d for the configuration and see what command is being executed. And a note, this level requires you to create your first shell script. This is a very big step and you should be proud of it. Let's go to the terminal. We will cd over to the etc cron.d directory, list out the contents of the directory. Let's cat out this cronjob underscore bandit24 file. We see this cron will execute this cronjob underscore bandit24 bash script at every minute. So it's a 60-second interval. Cat out the bash script. And the bash script will set a myname variable to the whoami output, which will be the current user. So it looks like that this script will be executed by the cron job every minute, and that the script is designed to run as the user who executes it. After it sets this variable, it cds to the var spool /myname/food directory, where the myname variable again is the current user or the output of whoami, the person who is executing the script. Then the script iterates with a for loop over all files in this var spool directory. For each file, it confirms that bandit23 is the owner, and then issues a 60-second timeout. If the owner is bandit23, again it issues that timeout, and then if it isn't, it will remove each file and delete the file. Let's move on to the solution. Let's make a directory under the temp directory we can work out of. You can cd over to that directory. And you want to create your first bash script. Now edit the bash script with vi, vim, or namo, whatever you prefer. Put the shebang up top. And what we're going to do is write a script that writes the output of the bandit underscore pass password file for bandit24 to our temporary directory. And I will write it to a file called password. Save your results and exit. Now create the password file. We'll cd and make sure we have the correct permissions set. We want to make sure the permissions for this temporary directory we've set up are set to 777. That will give the owner of the file read, write, execute permissions, as well as the group and all other users. So everybody can read, write, and execute our contents of our temporary directory. We'll do this recursively. Now we want to place the script in the appropriate directory so that it will be executed by the cron job. We want to copy the script over to the var spool bandit24 food directory. Once again, var spool bandit24 clue. Now that the script is copied over, we need to wait 60 seconds, and then the password should be written from that Bandit password directory over to the password file in our temp directory. Let's cd over. Here's the password file. Let's try catting it out. I don't know if it's been quite enough time. Looks like it has, because that is the password for the next level. And that wraps up our deep dive into levels 17 through 23 of the OverTheWire Bandit Linux war game. These challenges have given us a solid introduction to some more intermediate techniques and tools that you'll use as a Linux users. For example, understanding cron jobs is crucial for maintaining a reliable and efficient system, as the cron allows you to schedule tasks and automate scripts to run at specific times. We also touched on tools such as netcat and nmap, which are invaluable for network troubleshooting. So if you found this video helpful at all, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to continue joining me and my journey through the Bandit war game, hit the subscribe button and maybe even the bell notification so you can get updates and more. Again, thank you for watching, and make sure to check out the next part of the series, which will be the series finale. We'll dive into the last and final levels of the Bandit Linux war game, levels 24 to 34. Until next time, happy hacking. This has been Anya, and it's been real.